In the bustling heart of New York City, I, Alex Thompson, was living the American dream. Or so I thought. I had a stable job, a loving family, and a future that seemed bright. But in an instant, everything changed. My boss, a man I had trusted and respected, fired me without a single explanation. Little did he know, his betrayal would fuel a fire within me that would change both of our lives forever. This is my story of revenge, redemption, and the ultimate comeback. I had a stable job at a prestigious marketing firm, a loving family, and a future that seemed bright. I had worked tirelessly for years, climbing the corporate ladder and earning the respect of my colleagues. My dedication and hard work had not gone unnoticed. I was often praised for my attention to detail and my ability to meet tight deadlines. I thought I had it all figured out. One fateful Monday morning, I walked into the office with a spring in my step. I had just closed a major deal with a high-profile client, and I was eager to share the good news with my team. As I made my way to my desk, I noticed an unusual silence in the office. My colleagues, who were usually bustling with energy, seemed subdued. I brushed it off, attributing it to the typical Monday blues. Just as I was about to settle into my work, my boss, Mr. Richardson, called me into his office. Mr. Richardson was a man I had always respected. He was stern but fair, and I had learned a lot from him over the years. I walked into his office expecting to discuss the details of the new deal. Instead, he motioned for me to sit down, his expression unreadable. "Alex, I need to talk to you about something important," he said, his voice devoid of its usual warmth. I felt a knot form in my stomach, but I tried to maintain my composure. "Of course, Mr. Richardson. What's on your mind?" I replied, trying to keep my voice steady. He leaned back in his chair, his eyes avoiding mine. "I'm afraid I have some bad news. We're going to have to let you go." I stared at him, unable to process what he had just said. "Let me go?" "Why? What did I do wrong?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. Mr. Richardson shifted uncomfortably in his seat. "It's not about what you did wrong, Alex. It's just, the company is going in a different direction, and we need to make some changes." I felt a wave of anger and confusion wash over me. "But I just closed a major deal. I've always given my best to this company. Why am I being let go?" I demanded, my voice rising. Mr. Richardson's expression hardened. "I'm sorry, Alex, but the decision has been made. You'll receive your severance package and a letter of recommendation. That's all I can offer you." I sat there, stunned, as the reality of the situation sank in. I had been fired, and for no apparent reason. I tried to argue, to plead my case, but Mr. Richardson remained cold and distant. He handed me a box to pack my things and escorted me out of the office. As I walked out of the building, I felt a mix of emotions: anger, confusion, and betrayal. I had always been loyal to the company and had even sacrificed personal time to ensure projects were completed on time. I couldn't help but feel that there was more to the story than met the eye. I spent the next few days in a daze, trying to make sense of what had happened. I reached out to my former colleagues, hoping to gain some insight into my dismissal. Most of them were sympathetic but couldn't offer any concrete information. However, one of my closest friends at the office, Sarah, hinted that there might be more to the story. "Alex, I can't say much, but I think you should look into Mr. Richardson's recent activities," she said, her voice low. "Something doesn't add up." Her words sparked a fire within me. I decided that I wouldn't go down without a fight. I would uncover the truth behind my sudden termination and expose the injustice that had been done to me. Little did I know, my quest for answers would lead me down a path of revenge, redemption, and the ultimate comeback. The days following my abrupt termination were a blur of confusion and anger. I spent countless hours replaying the conversation with Mr. Richardson in my head, trying to make sense of it all. His cold demeanor and vague explanations left me with more questions than answers. I knew I couldn't just accept his decision without a fight. I needed to uncover the truth. I started my investigation by reaching out to more of my former colleagues. Most were hesitant to speak openly, fearing repercussions from Mr. Richardson. However, a few trusted friends were willing to share what they knew. Sarah, who had hinted at Mr. Richardson's suspicious activities, agreed to meet me for coffee. We sat in a quiet corner of a bustling cafe, the hum of conversation around us providing a sense of anonymity. Sarah looked nervous, her eyes darting around the room as if expecting someone to overhear us. "Alex, I shouldn't be telling you this, but I think you deserve to know," she began, her voice barely above a whisper. "Mr. Richardson has been acting strangely lately. He's been having closed-door meetings with people I've never seen before, and he's been really secretive about certain projects." I leaned in, my interest piqued. "What kind of projects?" Sarah hesitated before continuing. "Financial reports, mostly. He's been handling them personally, which is unusual. Normally, he delegates that kind of work to the accounting department." My mind raced as I tried to piece together the information. "Do you think he's hiding something?" Sarah nodded. "I can't be sure, but it's definitely suspicious. And there's something else. He's been making a lot of personal calls from his office. I overheard him mentioning large sums of money in offshore accounts." A chill ran down my spine. If Mr. Richardson was involved in something illegal, it would explain why he had fired me so abruptly. I thanked Sarah for her help and promised to keep her involvement confidential. Armed with this new information, I decided to dig deeper. I reached out to another former colleague, Jake, who worked in the IT department. Jake was a tech whiz and had access to the company's internal systems. He agreed to help me, but only if I promised to keep his involvement a secret. We met at his apartment, where he set up his laptop and began to navigate through the company's network. "I can't access everything, but I can show you some of the financial records," he explained, his fingers flying over the keyboard. As he pulled up the files, I scanned through the documents, looking for any discrepancies. It didn't take long to find what I was looking for. There were several large transactions that didn't match up with the company's reported income. The money seemed to be disappearing into thin air. "This is it," I muttered, my heart racing. "He's been embezzling funds." Jake nodded grimly. "It looks that way. And he's been covering his tracks by firing anyone who gets too close to the truth." I felt a surge of anger and determination. Mr. Richardson had not only betrayed the company, but had also ruined the lives of innocent employees. I couldn't let him get away with it. Over the next few days, I gathered as much evidence as I could. I printed out financial records, saved emails, and even recorded conversations with former colleagues who were willing to testify against Mr. Richardson. I knew I needed a solid case before I could take any action. As I pieced together the puzzle, I realized that my excellent work ethic and attention to detail had made me a threat to Mr. Richardson's schemes. He had fired me to cover his tracks, but he hadn't counted on my determination to uncover the truth. With a mountain of evidence in hand, I knew I had to act quickly. I couldn't risk Mr. Richardson finding out about my investigation and destroying the evidence. I decided to take my findings to the company's board of directors. I scheduled a meeting with the board, presenting myself as a concerned former employee with crucial information. They agreed to see me, and I prepared for what would be the most important meeting of my life. On the day of the meeting, I walked into the boardroom with a sense of purpose. I laid out the evidence before them, explaining in detail how Mr. Richardson had been embezzling funds and covering his tracks. The board members listened intently, their expressions growing more serious with each piece of evidence I presented. When I finished, there was a moment of silence before one of the board members spoke up. "This is a grave accusation, Mr. Thompson. We will need to investigate this thoroughly." I nodded, understanding the gravity of the situation. "I have all the evidence you need. I just want justice to be served." The board members exchanged glances before thanking me for my courage and assuring me that they would take immediate action. As I left the boardroom, I felt a sense of relief and vindication. I had exposed Mr. Richardson's betrayal, but I knew that my journey was far from over. The days following my meeting with the board of directors were filled with a mix of anticipation and anxiety. I had laid out all the evidence, but I knew that exposing Mr. Richardson's embezzlement was just the first step. I needed to ensure that justice was served and that the company could recover from the damage he had caused. As I waited for the board's decision, I couldn't help but feel a sense of restlessness. I had uncovered the truth, but I wanted more than just vindication. I wanted to take control of the situation and ensure that Mr. Richardson could never hurt anyone again. An idea began to form in my mind, a bold and audacious plan that would change the course of my life forever. I decided that simply exposing Mr. Richardson wouldn't be enough. I needed to take a more proactive approach. I needed to buy the company and fire him myself. It was a risky and ambitious plan, but I was determined to see it through. The first step was to assess my financial situation. I had some savings, but buying a company would require significant capital. I knew I couldn't do it alone, so I reached out to my family and closest friends for support. My father, a retired businessman, was the first person I turned to. He had always been my mentor and confidant, and I knew he would understand my desire for justice. We sat in his study, the room filled with the scent of old books and the faint hum of a ticking clock. "Dad, I need your help," I began, my voice steady but determined. "I've uncovered something big at my former company, and I need to take action." He listened intently as I explained the situation, Mr. Richardson's embezzlement, my abrupt termination, and my plan to buy the company. When I finished, he leaned back in his chair, his expression thoughtful. "It's a bold move, Alex," he said, his voice measured, "but I admire your determination. I'll support you in any way I can." His words filled me with gratitude and renewed resolve. With my father's backing, I knew I had a fighting chance. But I needed more than just financial support. I needed strategic advice and a team I could trust. Next, I reached out to my best friend Michael, a successful entrepreneur who had made a name for himself in the tech industry. We met at a trendy cafe in downtown New York, the bustling energy of the city reflecting the excitement and anxiety I felt. "Michael, I need your help," I said, cutting straight to the point. "I'm planning to buy my former company and fire the man who wronged me. But I can't do it alone." Michael raised an eyebrow, a hint of a smile playing on his lips. "That's quite the plan, Alex. Count me in. What do you need from me?" I explained the financial and strategic support I would need to acquire the company. Michael listened intently, his eyes lighting up with excitement as he realized the scope of my ambition. "I'll invest in your venture," he said, his voice filled with conviction, "and I'll introduce you to some key players who can help you navigate the acquisition process." With my father and Michael on board, I felt a surge of confidence. I knew that buying the company would be a complex and challenging endeavor, but with their support, I was ready to take on the challenge. Over the next few weeks, I worked tirelessly to put my plan into action. I met with lawyers, investors, and financial advisors, laying out my vision and seeking their expertise. Each meeting brought me one step closer to my goal, and I could feel the momentum building. One of the key players Michael introduced me to was Victoria, a seasoned corporate attorney with a reputation for getting things done. She agreed to represent me in the acquisition process, and her guidance proved invaluable. "Alex, buying a company is a complex process," she explained during one of our meetings. "We need to conduct due diligence, negotiate terms, and ensure that everything is above board. But with the right strategy, it's definitely achievable." Together, we drafted a comprehensive plan outlining each step of the acquisition process. We identified potential obstacles and developed strategies to overcome them. Victoria's expertise and my determination formed a powerful alliance, and I knew that we were on the right track. As the plan took shape, I also focused on building a team of trusted advisors and allies. I reached out to former colleagues who had been wronged by Mr. Richardson, offering them a chance to be part of the company's rebirth. Many were eager to join, seeing it as an opportunity for redemption and justice. One of the most crucial aspects of the plan was ensuring that the acquisition remained confidential. I couldn't risk Mr. Richardson finding out about my intentions and sabotaging the process. Victoria and I worked closely with the board of directors, keeping them informed of our progress while maintaining the utmost discretion. The days turned into weeks, and the weeks into months. Each step of the acquisition process brought new challenges and obstacles, but my resolve never wavered. I was driven by a burning desire for justice and a determination to see my plan through to the end. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the day of the acquisition arrived. I walked into the boardroom, flanked by Victoria and my team of advisors. The atmosphere was tense, but I felt a sense of calm and purpose. I knew that this was the moment I had been working towards, and I was ready to take control. The board members listened intently as I presented my offer to buy the company. I laid out my vision for its future, emphasizing my commitment to integrity, transparency, and fairness. I could see the respect and admiration in their eyes as they realized the depth of my determination. After a lengthy discussion, the board members voted unanimously to accept my offer. I felt a wave of relief and triumph wash over me. I had achieved the seemingly impossible. I had bought the company and was now in a position to fire the man who had wronged me. As I left the boardroom, I couldn't help but feel a sense of satisfaction. My plan had come to fruition, and I was one step closer to achieving justice. But I knew that the real challenge lay ahead, rebuilding the company and restoring its reputation. The day I officially became the owner of the company was a mix of exhilaration and trepidation. I had spent months meticulously planning and executing the acquisition, and now the moment of truth had arrived. As I walked into the familiar office building, this time as the CEO, I felt a surge of determination and a sense of responsibility. My first order of business was to address the employees. I called for a company-wide meeting, wanting to set the tone for my leadership right from the start. As I stood before the assembled staff, I could see a mix of curiosity, apprehension, and even a hint of relief in their eyes. Many of them had suffered under Mr. Richardson's regime, and they were eager for change. "Good morning, everyone," I began, my voice steady and confident. "As you all know, there have been significant changes in the company's leadership. I am Alex Thompson, your new CEO. I want to assure you that my primary goal is to restore this company to its former glory, built on the principles of integrity, transparency, and fairness." I could see nods of approval and even a few smiles. It was clear that my message was resonating with the employees. I continued outlining my vision for the company's future and emphasizing the importance of teamwork and open communication. "I believe that together we can overcome any challenge and achieve greatness," I said, my voice filled with conviction. "But first, there is an important matter that needs to be addressed." I paused, letting the weight of my words sink in. The room fell silent, and I could feel the tension building. I took a deep breath, steeling myself for what was to come. "Mr. Richardson, please step forward," I said, my voice firm. There was a collective gasp as Mr. Richardson emerged from the crowd, his face a mask of shock and disbelief. He had clearly not expected this turn of events, and his usual composure was nowhere to be found. "Mr. Richardson, your actions have caused irreparable harm to this company and its employees," I continued, my voice unwavering. "Your embezzlement and deceit have tarnished our reputation and betrayed the trust of those who work tirelessly for you. Effective immediately, you are relieved of your duties." The room erupted in a mix of cheers and applause. The employees, who had long suffered under Mr. Richardson's tyranny, finally saw justice being served. I could see the relief and gratitude in their eyes, and it reinforced my resolve to lead the company with integrity and compassion. As Mr. Richardson was escorted out of the building, I turned my attention back to the employees. "I promise you that under my leadership, this company will be a place where hard work is rewarded, honesty is valued, and every voice is heard. Together, we will rebuild and thrive." The meeting concluded with a sense of renewed hope and determination. I spent the rest of the day meeting with department heads and key personnel, discussing our immediate priorities and long-term goals. It was clear that there was much work to be done, but I was confident that with the right team and a shared vision, we could overcome any obstacle. One of my first tasks was to conduct a thorough audit of the company's finances. I needed to understand the full extent of the damage caused by Mr. Richardson's embezzlement and ensure that such actions could never happen again. I assembled a team of trusted accountants and financial advisors, and together we began the painstaking process of reviewing every transaction and financial record. As we delved deeper into the company's finances, the true scale of Mr. Richardson's deceit became apparent. He had siphoned off millions of dollars, using complex schemes and offshore accounts to cover his tracks. It was a daunting task, but I was determined to unravel the web of deceit and restore the company's financial health. In addition to the financial audit, I also focused on rebuilding the company's culture. I implemented new policies and procedures to ensure transparency and accountability at every level. I encouraged open communication and feedback, creating an environment where employees felt valued and heard. I also made it a priority to reconnect with our clients and partners. Mr. Richardson's actions had damaged our reputation, and it was crucial to rebuild trust and confidence. I personally reached out to each of our key clients, assuring them of our commitment to integrity and excellence. Many were impressed by my proactive approach and willingness to address the issues head-on. As the days turned into weeks, I could see the positive changes taking effect. The atmosphere in the office was lighter, and the employees seemed more motivated and engaged. We began to see improvements in our financial performance, and our clients responded positively to our renewed commitment. However, I knew that our journey was far from over. Rebuilding a company takes time, effort, and unwavering dedication. I was prepared to face the challenges ahead, knowing that with the right team and a shared vision, we could achieve greatness. One of the most significant challenges we faced was restructuring the company's leadership. Many of the senior managers had been complicit in Mr. Richardson's schemes, and it was crucial to replace them with individuals who shared my vision of integrity and excellence. I conducted a series of interviews, seeking out candidates who demonstrated strong leadership skills, ethical values, and a passion for our mission. It was a rigorous process, but I was determined to build a team that would drive the company forward. Among the new hires was Lisa, a seasoned marketing executive with a proven track record of success. She brought a fresh perspective and a wealth of experience to the team. Together, we worked on revamping our marketing strategies, focusing on innovation and customer satisfaction. Another key addition was David, a financial expert with a background in corporate governance. He played a crucial role in implementing new financial controls and ensuring that our operations were transparent and accountable. With the new leadership team in place, we began to see tangible results. Our financial performance improved, and our client base grew. We launched new products and services, positioning ourselves as industry leaders. The transformation was remarkable, and I couldn't help but feel a sense of pride and accomplishment. However, I also knew that success came with its own set of challenges. As the company grew, so did the expectations and responsibilities. I had to navigate the complexities of running a large corporation, balancing the needs of our employees, clients, and stakeholders. Despite the challenges, I remained steadfast in my vision. I continued to lead with integrity and compassion, fostering a culture of open communication and collaboration. I believe that our success was not just about financial performance, but also about the impact we had on our employees, clients, and the community. As I reflected on the journey so far, I realized that my quest for revenge had transformed into a quest for justice and redemption. I had not only exposed Mr. Richardson's betrayal, but had also created a legacy of integrity and excellence. The company was thriving, and I was proud to be at the helm, guiding it towards a brighter future. The weeks following Mr. Richardson's dismissal were a whirlwind of activity. The company was buzzing with a renewed sense of purpose and energy. Employees who had once walked on eggshells now moved with confidence and determination. The atmosphere was electric, and I could feel the positive changes taking root. One of my first priorities was to ensure a smooth transition. I held regular town hall meetings where employees could voice their concerns and suggestions. Transparency was key, and I made sure that everyone felt heard and valued. We implemented an open-door policy, encouraging employees to approach management with any issues or ideas. The financial audit revealed the full extent of Mr. Richardson's embezzlement. The numbers were staggering, but I was determined to rectify the situation. We worked tirelessly to recover as much of the misappropriated funds as possible, collaborating with legal and financial experts to track down the money trails. It was a painstaking process, but every dollar recovered felt like a small victory. As we stabilized the company's finances, I turned my attention to rebuilding our client relationships. Many of our partners had been shaken by the scandal, and it was crucial to regain their trust. I personally reached out to each of our key clients, assuring them of our commitment to integrity and excellence. I shared our plans for the future and invited them to be part of our journey towards redemption. To my relief, most of our clients were willing to give us a second chance. They appreciated our transparency and proactive approach. We signed new contracts and renewed old ones, slowly but surely rebuilding our client base. The positive feedback we received was a testament to our efforts and a source of motivation for the team. With the company's finances and client relationships on the mend, I focused on fostering a culture of innovation and excellence. I encouraged employees to think outside the box and take calculated risks. We launched new initiatives and projects aiming to stay ahead of the curve in our industry. The energy and enthusiasm were palpable, and it was clear that the company was on the path to greatness. However, the aftermath of Mr. Richardson's dismissal was not without its challenges. Some employees who had been loyal to him were resistant to change. They saw me as an outsider and were skeptical of my leadership. I understood their reservations and made it a point to engage with them openly and honestly. I listened to their concerns and addressed them with empathy and understanding. One such employee was John, a senior manager who had worked closely with Mr. Richardson. He was initially hesitant to accept the changes, but gradually warmed up to the new direction. I worked closely with him, involving him in key decisions and valuing his input. Over time, he became one of my most trusted advisors and a strong advocate for the company's new vision. As the company thrived under my leadership, I also faced personal challenges. The demands of running a large corporation were immense, and I often found myself working long hours and sacrificing personal time. My family, while supportive, struggled to understand the extent of my ambition and the sacrifices I was making. My wife, Emily, was particularly concerned. She had always been my rock, supporting me through thick and thin. But as the months went by, I could see the strain in her eyes. She missed the quality time we used to spend together and worried about the toll my new role was taking on our relationship. One evening, after a particularly long day at the office, I found Emily waiting for me at home, her expression serious. "Alex, we need to talk," she said, her voice filled with concern. I sat down next to her, feeling a pang of guilt. I had been so focused on the company that I had neglected our relationship. "I'm sorry, Emily," I began, my voice soft. "I know I've been distant lately. It's just, there's so much to do." Emily took my hand, her eyes searching mine. "I understand, Alex. I really do. But we can't let this consume our lives. We need to find a balance." Her words hit home. I realized that in my quest for justice and redemption, I had lost sight of what truly mattered, my family. I promised Emily that I would make more time for us and ensure that our relationship remained a priority. Over the next few weeks, I made a conscious effort to strike a better work-life balance. I delegated more responsibilities to my trusted team, freeing up time to spend with Emily and our children. We went on family outings, had dinner together, and reconnected in ways that reminded me of why I was fighting so hard in the first place. As I found a better balance, I also noticed a positive change in my leadership style. I became more patient and empathetic, understanding that success was not just about financial performance, but also about the well-being of our employees and their families. I encouraged my team to prioritize their personal lives and ensured that the company supported them in every way possible. The company continued to thrive, and our reputation in the industry grew stronger. We were recognized for our commitment to integrity, innovation, and employee well-being. Awards and accolades poured in, but what mattered most to me was the impact we were having on our employees and the community. One of the most rewarding aspects of my leadership was seeing the growth and development of our team. Employees who had once been hesitant to take on new challenges now stepped up with confidence and enthusiasm. They saw the company as a place where they could grow and thrive, and their dedication was a testament to our shared vision. As the company celebrated its first anniversary under my leadership, I reflected on the journey we had undertaken. From the betrayal and injustice that had sparked my quest for revenge to the redemption and growth that had followed, it had been a roller coaster of emotions and challenges. But through it all, we had emerged stronger and more united than ever. The anniversary celebration was a grand affair, attended by employees, clients, and industry partners. As I stood before the assembled crowd, I felt a sense of pride and accomplishment. I shared our journey, highlighting the challenges we had overcome and the successes we had achieved. I thanked everyone for their unwavering support and dedication, emphasizing that our success was a collective effort. Together, we have rebuilt this company on the foundation of integrity, innovation, and excellence, I said, my voice filled with emotion. And together, we will continue to thrive and make a positive impact on the world. The room erupted in applause, and I could see the pride and joy in the eyes of our employees. It was a moment of celebration and reflection, a testament to our resilience and determination. As the celebration wound down, I took a moment to step aside and reflect on the journey. I thought about the betrayal that had sparked it all, the injustice that had fueled my quest for revenge, and the redemption that had followed. I realized that my journey was not just about seeking justice, but also about personal growth and the power of resilience. I looked around the room, seeing the faces of the people who had supported me through it all, my family, my friends, and my colleagues. I felt a deep sense of gratitude and love for each of them. They had been my pillars of strength, guiding me through the darkest times and celebrating with me in the brightest moments. As I walked back to join the celebration, I knew that the journey was far from over. There would be more challenges and obstacles ahead, but with the right team and a shared vision, we could overcome anything. I was ready to face the future with confidence and determination, knowing that together we could achieve greatness. As the company continued to thrive under my leadership, I found myself facing a new set of challenges, ones that hit much closer to home. The demands of running a large corporation were immense, and I often found myself torn between my professional responsibilities and my personal life. My family, while supportive, struggled to understand the extent of my ambition and the sacrifices I was making. My wife, Emily, had always been my rock, standing by me through thick and thin, but as the months went by, I could see the strain in her eyes. She missed the quality time we used to spend together and worried about the toll my new role was taking on our relationship. Our children, too, felt the absence of their father, and it pained me to see the disappointment in their faces. One evening, after a particularly long day at the office, I found Emily waiting for me at home, her expression serious. "Alex, we need to talk," she said, her voice filled with concern. I sat down next to her, feeling a pang of guilt. I had been so focused on the company that I had neglected our relationship. "I'm sorry, Emily," I began, my voice soft. "I know I've been distant lately. It's just, there's so much to do." Emily took my hand, her eyes searching mine. "I understand, Alex. I really do. But we can't let this consume our lives. We need to find a balance." Her words hit home. I realized that in my quest for justice and redemption, I had lost sight of what truly mattered, my family. I promised Emily that I would make more time for us and ensure that our relationship remained a priority. Over the next few weeks, I made a conscious effort to strike a better work-life balance. I delegated more responsibilities to my trusted team, freeing up time to spend with Emily and our children. We went on family outings, had dinner together, and reconnected in ways that reminded me of why I was fighting so hard in the first place. However, the tension within the family did not dissipate overnight. My children, who had grown accustomed to my absence, were initially hesitant to warm up to me. I understood their reservations and made it a point to engage with them openly and honestly. I listened to their concerns and addressed them with empathy and understanding. One such moment occurred when my daughter Lily approached me one evening. "Dad, why weren't you at my soccer game last week?" she asked, her voice tinged with disappointment. I felt a pang of guilt. I had missed her game due to a last-minute meeting, and it had slipped my mind to apologize. "I'm sorry, Lily," I said, my voice sincere. "I had an important meeting that I couldn't miss, but I promise I'll make it up to you." Lily looked at me, her eyes filled with a mix of hurt and hope. "You always say that, Dad, but you never do." Her words stung, but I knew she was right. I had made promises before and failed to keep them. This time I was determined to do better. "I understand, Lily," I said, my voice gentle, "and I'm truly sorry. But I promise you things will change. I'll be there for your next game, and I'll make sure to spend more time with you and your brother." Lily nodded, her expression softening. "Okay, Dad, I believe you." That moment was a turning point for me. I realized that my actions spoke louder than my words, and I needed to follow through on my promises. I made it a point to be present for my children's activities, whether it was soccer games, school plays, or simply spending quality time at home. As I found a better balance, I also noticed a positive change in my leadership style. I became more patient and empathetic, understanding that success was not just about financial performance, but also about the well-being of our employees and their families. I encouraged my team to prioritize their personal lives and ensured that the company supported them in every way possible. However, the tension within the family was not limited to my relationship with my children. My parents, too, had concerns about the extent of my ambition. My father, who had always been my mentor and confidant, expressed his worries during one of our weekly dinners. "Alex, I'm proud of what you've accomplished," he said, his voice filled with a mix of pride and concern. "But I'm worried about the toll it's taking on you and your family. You need to find a balance." I nodded, understanding his perspective. "I know, Dad. I've been working on it. I'm delegating more responsibilities and making time for Emily and the kids." My father looked at me, his eyes filled with wisdom and experience. "That's good, Alex. But remember, it's not just about making time. It's about being present and engaged. Your family needs you, and you need them." His words resonated with me, and I made a conscious effort to be more present and engaged with my family. I listened to their concerns, addressed their needs, and made sure they felt valued and heard. Over time, the tension within the family began to ease, and we found a better balance. As the company continued to thrive, I also faced challenges from extended family members who had differing opinions on my leadership style and the direction I was taking the company. My uncle, who had been a silent partner in the company for years, expressed his reservations during one of our family gatherings. "Alex, I appreciate what you're trying to do," he said, his voice measured, "but I'm not sure if you're moving too fast. The company has been through a lot, and we need to be cautious." I understood his concerns and made it a point to engage with him openly and honestly. I listened to his perspective, addressed his reservations, and assured him that I was taking calculated risks and had the company's best interests at heart. Over time, he came to see the value in my leadership and became a strong supporter of my vision. The tension within the family was a reminder that success came with its own set of challenges. It was not just about achieving professional goals, but also about maintaining personal relationships and finding a balance between the two. I was determined to navigate these challenges with empathy, understanding, and a commitment to my family. As I reflected on the journey so far, I realized that my quest for revenge had transformed into a quest for justice and redemption. I had not only exposed Mr. Richardson's betrayal, but had also created a legacy of integrity and excellence. The company was thriving, and I was proud to be at the helm, guiding it towards a brighter future. However, I also knew that success was not just about professional achievements, but also about the impact we had on our employees, clients, and the community. I was committed to leading with integrity and compassion, fostering a culture of open communication and collaboration. I believed that our success was a collective effort, and I was grateful for the support and dedication of my team. As I looked towards the future, I was ready to face the challenges ahead with confidence and determination, knowing that with the right team and a shared vision, we could overcome anything. I was also committed to maintaining a better work-life balance, ensuring that my family remained a priority and that our relationships continued to thrive. Just when I thought things were finally settling down, life threw another curveball my way. The company was thriving, my family life was improving, and I felt like I had found a good balance between my professional and personal responsibilities. But as I would soon discover, the path to redemption is never straightforward. One morning, as I was reviewing the company's financial reports, I received an unexpected email. The subject line read, "Urgent legal action against Alex Thompson." My heart sank as I opened the message. It was from a law firm representing Mr. Richardson, accusing me of wrongful termination and defamation. I stared at the screen in disbelief. After everything he had done, Mr. Richardson was now trying to turn the tables on me. I felt a surge of anger and frustration, but I knew I had to stay calm and focused. I immediately forwarded the email to Victoria, our corporate attorney, and scheduled an emergency meeting. Victoria arrived at my office within the hour, her expression serious. "Alex, this is a grave accusation," she said, her voice measured, "but we have all the evidence to prove your innocence. We need to prepare for a legal battle." I nodded, understanding the gravity of the situation. "I'm ready to fight this," I said, my voice filled with determination. "I won't let him get away with this." Over the next few days, Victoria and I worked tirelessly to gather evidence and prepare our defense. We reviewed every document, email, and financial record related to Mr. Richardson's embezzlement and my subsequent actions. We also reached out to key witnesses, including former colleagues who had been wronged by Mr. Richardson and were willing to testify against him. As the legal battle unfolded, the media caught wind of the story. Headlines blared about the corporate showdown and the battle for justice. Reporters hounded me for interviews, but I remained focused on the task at hand. I knew that the truth would prevail, and I was determined to see this through to the end. The trial was a media sensation, with both sides presenting their cases passionately. Mr. Richardson's legal team painted me as a vindictive and power-hungry individual who had wrongfully terminated him to cover up my own misdeeds. They presented fabricated evidence and twisted the facts to suit their narrative. But Victoria and I were prepared. We presented a mountain of evidence, including financial records, emails, and witness testimonies that proved Mr. Richardson's embezzlement and my justified actions. The jury listened intently as we laid out our case, their expressions growing more serious with each piece of evidence presented. One of the most dramatic moments of the trial came when Sarah, my former colleague who had first hinted at Mr. Richardson's suspicious activities, took the stand. She recounted her experiences working under Mr. Richardson, detailing his secretive meetings, personal calls, and financial discrepancies. Her testimony was compelling and provided a crucial piece of the puzzle. Another key witness was Jake, the IT expert who had helped me uncover the evidence of Mr. Richardson's embezzlement. He testified about the complex schemes Mr. Richardson had used to cover his tracks and the lengths he had gone to hide his misdeeds. Jake's technical expertise and calm demeanor made his testimony particularly convincing. As the trial progressed, it became clear that the jury was swayed by our evidence and the testimonies of our witnesses. Mr. Richardson's legal team struggled to refute our claims, and their case began to unravel. The media coverage shifted in our favor, with reporters highlighting the strength of our evidence and the credibility of our witnesses. But just when I thought we had the upper hand, another dramatic twist occurred. One evening, as I was reviewing the day's proceedings with Victoria, I received a phone call from an unknown number. I hesitated before answering, my heart racing with anticipation. "Hello?" I said, my voice tentative. "Alex, it's me," a familiar voice replied. It was John, the senior manager who had initially been hesitant to accept the changes, but had eventually become one of my most trusted advisors. "John, what's going on?" I asked, my voice filled with concern. John hesitated before continuing. "Alex, I need to tell you something. I've been approached by Mr. Richardson's legal team. They offered me a deal to testify against you in exchange for a substantial sum of money." I felt a pang of betrayal, but I remained calm. "John, you know the truth. You know what Mr. Richardson did and why I had to fire him. I need you to do the right thing." John sighed, his voice filled with regret. "I know, Alex. I'm sorry. I won't take the deal. I'll testify honestly and support your case." I felt a wave of relief wash over me. John's testimony would be crucial in reinforcing our case and exposing Mr. Richardson's deceit. I thanked him for his honesty and assured him that his decision would not go unnoticed. The next day, John took the stand and recounted his experiences working under Mr. Richardson. He detailed the financial discrepancies, secretive meetings, and personal calls that had raised his suspicions. His testimony was compelling and provided further evidence of Mr. Richardson's wrongdoings. As the trial drew to a close, the jury retired to deliberate. The wait was agonizing, but I remained confident in our case. I knew that the truth would prevail, and I was determined to see justice served. After what felt like an eternity, the jury returned with their verdict. The courtroom fell silent as the foreman read the decision. "We, the jury, find in favor of the defendant, Alex Thompson. Mr. Richardson's claims of wrongful termination and defamation are hereby dismissed." A wave of relief and triumph washed over me. I had been vindicated and justice had been served. The courtroom erupted in applause, and I could see the pride and joy in the eyes of my family, friends, and colleagues who had supported me through it all. But the dramatic twist did not end with the trial. In the weeks that followed, I received another unexpected email. This time, it was from an anonymous source who claimed to have further evidence of Mr. Richardson's misdeeds. The email contained links to encrypted files, which, when decoded, revealed a web of corruption and deceit that went far beyond what we had uncovered during the trial. I was shocked by the extent of Mr. Richardson's actions, but also determined to expose the truth. I forwarded the evidence to Victoria and the authorities, who launched a full-scale investigation into Mr. Richardson's activities. The investigation revealed that Mr. Richardson had been involved in a network of illegal activities, including money laundering, bribery, and fraud. As the investigation unfolded, the media once again turned its attention to the story. Headlines blared about the web of corruption and the fall of a corporate titan. Mr. Richardson's name became synonymous with deceit and betrayal, and his once sterling reputation was forever tarnished. The dramatic twists and turns of the legal battle and the subsequent investigation were a stark reminder of the depths of Mr. Richardson's betrayal and the lengths he had gone to cover his tracks. But they also reinforced my determination to seek justice and expose the truth, no matter the cost. Through it all, I remained steadfast in my vision for the company. I continued to lead with integrity and compassion, fostering a culture of open communication and collaboration. I believe that our success was a collective effort, and I was grateful for the support and dedication of my team. As I looked towards the future, I was ready to face the challenges ahead with confidence and determination, knowing that with the right team and a shared vision, we could overcome anything. I was also committed to maintaining a better work-life balance, ensuring that my family remained a priority and that our relationships continued to thrive. The dramatic twists and turns of the legal battle and the subsequent investigation had taken a toll on me, both professionally and personally. As the dust settled and justice was finally served, I found myself reflecting on the emotional journey I had undertaken. The path to redemption had been fraught with challenges, but it had also been a journey of personal growth and self-discovery. One evening, as I sat in my home office, I found myself staring at a framed photograph of my family. The smiling faces of Emily, Lily, and my son Max reminded me of why I had fought so hard. I thought about the moments of joy and laughter we had shared, and the times of struggle and tension that had tested our bonds. Through it all, my family had been my rock, supporting me and believing in me even when I doubted myself. I picked up the photograph and walked downstairs to the living room, where Emily was reading a book. She looked up as I entered, her eyes softening as she saw the emotion in mine. I sat down next to her, the photograph still in my hand. "Emily, I want to thank you," I said, my voice filled with sincerity, "for everything, for standing by me, for believing in me, and for being my rock through it all." Emily smiled, her eyes welling up with tears. "Alex, you don't have to thank me. I love you, and I always will. We're in this together, no matter what." Her words touched me deeply, and I felt a surge of gratitude and love. I took her hand, squeezing it gently. "I know, and I love you too, more than words can express." We sat in silence for a moment, the weight of our shared journey hanging in the air. I thought about the times when I had been so focused on my quest for justice that I had neglected my family. I thought about the promises I had made and the moments I had missed, but I also thought about the lessons I had learned and the growth I had experienced. "Emily, I want you to know that I'm committed to being a better husband and father," I said, my voice steady. "I've learned so much through this journey, and I want to make sure that our family always comes first." Emily nodded, her eyes filled with understanding. "I know you do, Alex, and I believe in you. We all do." Her words filled me with a sense of purpose and determination. I knew that my journey was far from over, but I was ready to face the future with a renewed sense of commitment to my family. Over the next few weeks, I made a conscious effort to spend more quality time with my family. I planned family outings, helped the kids with their homework, and made sure to be present for their activities. I also made it a point to have regular date nights with Emily, rekindling the romance and connection that had been strained during the height of the legal battle. One such date night took us to a cozy Italian restaurant in downtown New York. As we sat across from each other, the soft glow of the candlelight casting a warm hue on our faces, I felt a sense of contentment and joy. We talked about our dreams, our fears, and our hopes for the future. We laughed, we cried, and we reconnected in a way that reminded me of why I had fallen in love with her in the first place. As the evening drew to a close, I took Emily's hand and looked into her eyes. Emily, I want you to know that I'm here for you, always. No matter what challenges we face, we'll face them together. Emily smiled, her eyes filled with love. I know, Alex, and I'm here for you too. Always. That night, as we walked home hand in hand, I felt a deep sense of gratitude and love for my family. I knew that our journey had been difficult, but it had also brought us closer together. I was committed to nurturing and cherishing our relationships no matter what the future held. But the emotional depth of my journey was not limited to my family. I also reflected on the impact it had on my colleagues and the company as a whole. I thought about the employees who had stood by me, who had believed in my vision and supported me through the challenges. I thought about the culture of open communication and collaboration that we had fostered, and the sense of community and belonging that had emerged. One day as I walked through the office, I noticed the smiles and nods of acknowledgement from my colleagues. I felt a sense of pride and gratitude for the team we had built and the values we upheld. I knew that our success was a collective effort, and I was determined to continue leading with integrity and compassion. I also thought about the employees who had been wronged by Mr. Richardson, who had suffered under his tyranny and deceit. I thought about the pain and betrayal they had experienced and the resilience and strength they had shown in the face of adversity. I was committed to ensuring that their voices were heard and that justice was served. One such employee was Sarah, who had first hinted at Mr. Richardson's suspicious activities and had testified against him during the trial. I invited her to my office one afternoon, wanting to express my gratitude and support. Sarah, I want to thank you for your courage and honesty, I said, my voice filled with sincerity. You played a crucial role in exposing the truth and bringing justice to those who had been wronged. Sarah smiled, her eyes filled with a mix of pride and emotion. Thank you, Alex. I'm just glad that I could help. It wasn't easy, but it was the right thing to do. Her words touched me deeply, and I felt a sense of admiration and respect for her strength and integrity. I knew that her actions had not only exposed the truth, but had also inspired others to stand up for what was right. As I reflected on the emotional depth of my journey, I realized that it had been a transformative experience. I had learned the value of perseverance, the power of truth, and the importance of maintaining strong relationships. I had also learned the importance of leading with integrity and compassion, and the impact that our actions could have on those around us. I thought about the moments of joy and laughter, the times of struggle and tension, and the lessons I had learned along the way. I thought about the people who had supported me, who had believed in me, and who had inspired me to be a better person. I was grateful for each and every one of them, and I was committed to continuing to grow and learn from their examples. As I looked towards the future, I was ready to face the challenges ahead with a renewed sense of purpose and determination. I was committed to leading with integrity and compassion, to nurturing and cherishing my relationships, and to continuing to grow and learn from the experiences that life threw my way. I also knew that my journey was not just about professional achievements, but also about the impact we had on our employees, clients, and the community. I was committed to creating a legacy of integrity, excellence, and compassion, and to inspiring others to do the same. Years had passed since the dramatic twists and turns that had defined my journey. The company had not only recovered from the turmoil, but had thrived under my leadership. We had become a beacon of integrity, innovation, and excellence in our industry. As I sat in my office looking out at the bustling cityscape of New York, I couldn't help but reflect on the legacy I had built. The company had grown exponentially, expanding our client base and diversifying our services. We had launched new products, entered new markets, and established ourselves as industry leaders. Our financial performance was stronger than ever, and our reputation for integrity and excellence was unmatched. But what mattered most to me was the impact we had on our employees and the community. I had always believed that success was not just about financial performance, but also about the lives we touched and the differences we made. I was proud to say that our company had become a place where people could grow, thrive, and make a positive impact. One of the most rewarding aspects of my leadership was seeing the growth and development of our team. Employees who had once been hesitant to take on new challenges now stepped up with confidence and enthusiasm. They saw the company as a place where they could achieve their dreams and make a difference. Their dedication and hard work were a testament to our shared vision and values. I thought about Sarah, who had first hinted at Mr. Richardson's suspicious activities and had testified against him during the trial. She had since risen through the ranks and was now a senior manager, leading her own team with integrity and compassion. Her journey was a testament to her strength, resilience, and unwavering commitment to doing what was right. I also thought about Jake, the IT expert who had helped me uncover the evidence of Mr. Richardson's embezzlement. He had become our chief technology officer, driving innovation and ensuring that our systems were secure and transparent. His technical expertise and leadership had been instrumental in our success. And then there was John, the senior manager who had initially been hesitant to accept the changes, but had eventually become one of my most trusted advisors. He had played a crucial role in our growth and expansion, and his strategic insights had been invaluable. His journey was a testament to the power of redemption and the importance of giving people a chance to prove themselves. As I reflected on the legacy I had built, I realized that it was not just about the company's success, but also about the people who had made it possible. I was grateful for each and every one of them, and I was committed to continuing to support and inspire them. One of the initiatives I was most proud of was our mentorship program. We had established a robust system where senior employees mentored junior staff, providing guidance, support, and opportunities for growth. The program had been a resounding success, fostering a culture of learning, development, and collaboration. I also thought about the impact we had on the community. We had established several corporate social responsibility initiatives, focusing on education, healthcare, and environmental sustainability. We had partnered with local schools to provide scholarships and mentorship opportunities for students. We had supported healthcare initiatives, providing funding and resources for research and treatment, and we had implemented sustainable practices, reducing our carbon footprint and promoting environmental awareness. Our efforts had not gone unnoticed. We had received numerous awards and accolades for our commitment to corporate social responsibility and our positive impact on the community. But what mattered most to me was the difference we were making in people's lives. I was proud to say that our company had become a force for good, and I was committed to continuing to make a positive impact. As I looked toward the future, I was filled with a sense of purpose and determination. I knew that our journey was far from over, and there would be more challenges and obstacles ahead. But I was ready to face them with confidence and resilience, knowing that with the right team and a shared vision, we could overcome anything. I also knew that my legacy was not just about the company's success, but also about the impact we had on the world around us. I was committed to continuing to lead with integrity and compassion, to inspiring and supporting our employees, and to making a positive difference in the community. One day as I was walking through the office, I noticed a group of employees huddled together, discussing a new project. Their enthusiasm and dedication were infectious, and I couldn't help but feel a sense of pride and joy. I approached them, eager to hear about their ideas and offer my support. "What are you all working on?" I asked, my voice filled with curiosity. One of the employees, a young woman named Laura, turned to me with a smile. "We're brainstorming ideas for a new community initiative," she explained. "We want to partner with a local nonprofit to provide mentorship and resources for underprivileged youth." I was impressed by their initiative and commitment. "That sounds like a fantastic idea," I said, my voice filled with enthusiasm. "How can I help?" Laura's eyes lit up with excitement. "We were hoping you could connect us with some of your contacts in the nonprofit sector and provide some guidance on how to structure the program." I nodded, eager to support their efforts. "Absolutely. I'll introduce you to some key players and provide whatever resources you need. This is exactly the kind of initiative that aligns with our values and mission." As I walked away, I felt a deep sense of satisfaction and pride. I knew that the legacy I had built was not just about my own achievements, but also about the impact we were having on the world around us. I was committed to continuing to support and inspire our employees, to fostering a culture of innovation and excellence, and to making a positive difference in the community. Over the years, I had also become a sought-after speaker, inspiring audiences with my story of resilience, redemption, and the power of integrity. I had spoken at conferences, universities, and corporate events, sharing my journey and the lessons I had learned along the way. My message was one of hope, perseverance, and the importance of standing up for what was right. One such speaking engagement took me to a prestigious university where I addressed a packed auditorium of students, faculty, and industry professionals. As I stood on the stage, I looked out at the sea of faces, seeing the hope and inspiration in their eyes. I shared my story, highlighting the challenges I had faced, the lessons I had learned, and the impact I had made. Remember, success is not just about achieving your goals, I said, my voice filled with conviction. It's about the lives you touch, the differences you make, and the legacy you leave behind. Always strive to do what is right, to lead with integrity and compassion, and to make a positive impact on the world around you. The auditorium erupted in applause, and I could see the pride and admiration in the eyes of the audience. I knew that my message had resonated with them, and I was grateful for the opportunity to inspire and motivate others to make a difference. As I looked towards the future, I was filled with a sense of purpose and determination. I knew that my journey was far from over, and there would be more challenges and obstacles ahead. But I was ready to face them with confidence and resilience, knowing that with the right team and a shared vision, we could overcome anything. I also knew that my legacy was not just about the company's success, but also about the impact we had on the world around us. I was committed to continuing to lead with integrity and compassion, to inspiring and supporting our employees, and to making a positive difference in the community. As I stood in my office looking out at the bustling New York skyline, I couldn't help but reflect on the incredible journey I had undertaken. From the moment I was unjustly fired by Mr. Richardson to the day I bought the company and fired him instead, my life had been a roller coaster of emotions, challenges, and triumphs. Now, years later, I found myself at a point where I could look back with pride and forward with hope. The company had not only recovered from the turmoil, but had thrived under my leadership. We had become a beacon of integrity, innovation, and excellence in our industry. Our financial performance was stronger than ever, and our reputation for ethical practices and community involvement was unmatched. But more importantly, we had created a culture where every employee felt valued, heard, and empowered to make a difference. I thought about the countless lives we had touched, employees who had grown and thrived under our mentorship programs, students who had benefited from our scholarships and community initiatives, and clients who had trusted us with their business because of our unwavering commitment to integrity and excellence. Each of these connections was a testament to the legacy we had built. One afternoon, as I was wrapping up a meeting with my leadership team, I received an unexpected visitor. It was Sarah, the former colleague who had first hinted at Mr. Richardson's suspicious activities and had testified against him during the trial. She had since risen through the ranks and was now a senior manager, leading her own team with integrity and compassion. "Alex, do you have a moment?" Sarah asked, her voice filled with warmth and respect. "Of course, Sarah. Come in," I replied, gesturing for her to take a seat. Sarah sat down, her eyes shining with gratitude. "I just wanted to thank you, Alex, for everything, for believing in me, for giving me the opportunity to grow, and for creating a company where people can truly thrive." Her words touched me deeply. "Sarah, you don't have to thank me. You've earned every bit of your success. I'm just proud to have been a part of your journey." Sarah smiled, her eyes welling up with tears. "You've been more than just a part of my journey, Alex. You've been an inspiration. You've shown us all what it means to lead with integrity and compassion, and you've created a legacy that will last for generations." Her words filled me with a sense of pride and humility. I knew that my journey had been about more than just personal redemption. It had been about creating a better future for everyone around me. As Sarah left my office, I thought about the many other employees who had shared similar sentiments. I thought about Jake, the IT expert who had become our chief technology officer, driving innovation and ensuring that our systems were secure and transparent. I thought about John, the senior manager who had become one of my most trusted advisors, playing a crucial role in our growth and expansion. Each of them had contributed to our success in their own unique way, and I was grateful for their dedication and hard work. I also thought about the impact we had on the community. Our corporate social responsibility initiatives had made a tangible difference in the lives of so many people. We had provided scholarships and mentorship opportunities for students, supported healthcare initiatives, and implemented sustainable practices to reduce our carbon footprint. Our efforts had not gone unnoticed, and we had received numerous awards and accolades for our commitment to making a positive impact. But what mattered most to me was the difference we were making in people's lives. I thought about the students who had received scholarships and gone on to achieve great things, the patients who had benefited from our healthcare initiatives, and the communities that had thrived because of our environmental efforts. Each of these stories was a testament to the power of integrity, compassion, and a commitment to doing what was right. As I looked towards the future, I was filled with a sense of purpose and determination. I knew that our journey was far from over, and there would be more challenges and obstacles ahead. But I was ready to face them with confidence and resilience, knowing that with the right team and a shared vision, we could overcome anything. I also knew that my legacy was not just about the company's success, but also about the impact we had on the world around us. I was committed to continuing to lead with integrity and compassion, to inspiring and supporting our employees, and to making a positive difference in the community. One evening, as I sat at home with my family, I felt a deep sense of gratitude and love. I looked at Emily, my rock and partner through it all, and at Lily and Max, my beautiful children, who had grown into incredible young adults. I thought about the moments of joy and laughter we had shared, the times of struggle and tension that had tested our bonds, and the lessons we had learned along the way. Emily, Lily, Max, I said, my voice filled with emotion. I want to thank you all for your unwavering support and love. You've been my inspiration and my strength, and I couldn't have done any of this without you. Emily smiled, her eyes filled with love. Alex, you don't have to thank us. We're a family and we're in this together. Always. Lily and Max nodded in agreement, their faces beaming with pride and affection. In that moment, I knew that my true legacy was not just the company I had built, but the love and bonds I had nurtured with my family. As the years passed, I continued to lead the company with integrity and compassion, fostering a culture of innovation, excellence, and community involvement. I also made it a point to spend quality time with my family, creating lasting memories and strengthening our bonds. I became a sought-after speaker, inspiring audiences with my story of resilience, redemption, and the power of integrity. I spoke at conferences, universities, and corporate events, sharing my journey and the lessons I had learned along the way. My message was one of hope, perseverance, and the importance of standing up for what was right. B. One day, as I stood on the stage of a prestigious conference, I looked out at the sea of faces in the audience. I saw the hope and inspiration in their eyes, and I knew that my story had resonated with them. I shared my journey, highlighting the challenges I had faced, the lessons I had learned, and the impact I had made. Remember, success is not just about achieving your goals, I said, my voice filled with conviction. It's about the lives you touch, the differences you make, and the legacy you leave behind. Always strive to do what is right, to lead with integrity and compassion, and to make a positive impact on the world around you. The auditorium erupted in applause, and I could see the pride and admiration in the eyes of the audience. I knew that my message had inspired and motivated others to make a difference, and I was grateful for the opportunity to share my story. As I looked toward the future, I was filled with a sense of purpose and determination. I knew that my journey was far from over, and there would be more challenges and obstacles ahead. But I was ready to face them with confidence and resilience, knowing that with the right team and a shared vision, we could overcome anything. I also knew that my legacy was not just about the company's success, but also about the impact we had on the world around us. I was committed to continuing to lead with integrity and compassion, to inspiring and supporting our employees, and to making a positive difference in the community. And so, as I stood there, reflecting on the incredible journey I had undertaken, I knew that my story was one of redemption, resilience, and the power of doing what was right. I was proud of the legacy I had built, and I was grateful for the love and support of my family, friends, and colleagues who had been with me every step of the way. Thank you for joining me on this journey, I said, my voice filled with emotion. Remember to subscribe to my channel, share this video, and like it if you found it inspiring. Together, we can make a difference.